Hi everyone, my name is Anika Verma and I'm the Chief Communications Officer at the Steamboat. For those of you who don't know, we interview various students who have showcased an interest in STEAM and or leadership through exceptional means. And I'm pleased to announce our next student, Liliana. So can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Leilani Agudelo, and I'm in 11th grade, well, technically 12th since the school year's done, and I go to school at West Broward High in South Florida. My favorite subject is definitely science. I don't like math that much, and outside of school, I really like fitness and working out and just watching movies.
Oh, nice to meet you. So, I'm sorry for the name error.
That's fine.
Congratulations on being the Mind Matters winner for the Steamboat competition. So,
Thank
can you
you.
tell us a little bit? We'll start right at the beginning. So, what made you, kind of want to participate in this competition?
Well, I feel like even if it wasn't a requirement for the steamboat, I would have done it anyways because it's mental health is something that I feel like is a very pressing topic, like especially among young people that has to be like discussed. I feel like it's like a need, like if that makes sense. I feel like it should be a requirement because it's so pertinent to our overall health because if you don't have good mental health, then you don't have good emotional health, then you don't have good physical health, and it just like it leads to a trickle effect. So I feel like it's a very like focal point that we should be like focusing on.
All right, yes, I can definitely very much agree with what you said, and it's like a big focus point. So now moving into your like journey into the Mind Matters. So I'll kind of first let's get like an overview. So can you tell us what you specifically researched or wrote about?
Okay, so when I saw the prompt for the Mind Matters competition, I immediately thought of body image because I feel like that's something that's so like prominent in our society today, even with girls and guys both, especially with like the rise of social media, of like TikTok and Instagram, where all these like where the fad diets are going, like where they're like rising, like the body image issues. And I feel like that should just be something that should be written about because it affects everyone to some extent and it affects everyone. Like even if it's a little bit, even if it's a lot, it can lead to degrading of like mental health over time if it's not treated. And I feel like if a lot of people don't know about it, then it's not something that'll be addressed properly.
Yes, I can definitely agree about that. And since our viewers don't know what the prompt is, could you tell them what the prompt is so that they kind of know what you were kind of answering?
Yeah, so I wrote about body image. Well, I titled it Body Image and Mental Health, and I kind of wrote about how that like outside influences like family and friends and peer pressure as well as social media can negatively influence the way we perceive our own bodies, and from that negative perception it leads to lowered self-esteem and poor body image, and that can actually lead to more destructive mental health issues like depression. It can lead to suicidal thoughts, and it just is like a big domino effect from that one little thing of like seeing an Instagram post that you wanted to like you want to look like her, you want to look like him. So
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So, what made you like specifically choose this topic other than like, kind of seeing impact around your community and things like that?
well, when I thought of the topic, I kind of like it resonates with me in a sense because it's something that I previously struggled with. I still do sometimes, and like I said, a lot of people struggle with it, but it's something that I'm still trying to like grapple and fight on my like by myself. So writing about it like opened my eyes, like my own eyes, like the effects of it to help me better understand what it is that I was going through and how my own research could possibly help me and of course a whole bunch of other people too.
Yes. So, how did you start your research journey? Like, where did you start looking? And what kind of like overall like what was your kind of hypothesis? What were you looking for? What was your conclusion kind of?
Well, from the get-go, I knew that that body image could lead to like things like depression and suicidal thoughts. And not that I was looking for sources that directly back that up, but I just did general research of like how social media affects kids and then how social media how it affects body images and how fitness influencers can affect that and how external effects other than yourself can affect your mental health. So things like that, like pertaining to body image and stuff. And then from there, I was able to go to like medical articles of like how negative body images can lead us to perceive ourselves in a more negative way. and how negatively viewing ourselves just leads to more detrimental effects.
Thank you so much for sharing that information on kind of how you went about your research journey. So, what would you say was the easiest part about your research, and what was the hardest part about your research?
Um, I wouldn't say there was necessarily like an extremely hard part because I'm a researcher for the steamboat, so I'm able to actually do research really easily and writing all of the information down. Because the topic resonates with me, it was kind of easy to just like flow through it and type everything out. If I had to say the most difficult part, it'd be like restating everything because it was hard to not just like write everything down. And, because I'm so used to just like writing facts down, it was like hard to like restate everything. But to some extent, my personal experience with it was like it simplified the process, if that makes sense.
Yes, definitely, having practice, having experiences can, help you. So, my next question is if you would, how would you take this research further, or like what would you have goals or hopes for this article that you wrote?
Like like what I hope it leads to,
Yeah, kind of.
like in a sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I kind of hope that it reaches a lot of people and that because I wrote a lot about the effects of like depression and suicidal thoughts. So I hope that the people that are experiencing like negative body images and low self-esteem, it reaches them so that they realize that not one, that they're not alone,
Mhm.
and two, if they go too much into what it is, then it could make things even worse for them in their own lives. So I just hope that the paper like it reaches a larger audience, so also that people learn about how one post on social media, like faking it, doing like deep fakes and stuff like that, how it can negatively affect someone because of their sensitivity to content like that.
Yes, definitely. And trying to get your word out and trying to have as many people being able to benefit from it is obviously very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So my next question is if let's say the Steamboat was to do this mind mental health competition again, would you compete in it or would you recommend it to others or not? And either way it's fine, what's your personal opinions? And if you personally compete in it again, what kind of project or writing idea would you have in mind?
I personally would compete in it again. I actually am not. I wasn't thinking about the next topic that I'd write about. It'd probably be something about burnout with schools and colleges and how it affects students mentally. Like something about like how an outside influence affects you mentally inside. Like something definitely like that. But if anything, I'd probably do something about school burnout and even like college too. And I definitely would recommend the paper to other people because you teach yourself new things and you're able to like share what you learned with the world pretty much. So
Yeah. I feel like, sharing the college and high school burnout. I think just recently when I was taking an interview of another person, I think this was mentioned again that they said like, high school and college burnout is like something really big to deal with and manage and handle.
yeah.
I think a lot of people would benefit from that because while I feel like most people would say like, they know like, oh, high school is tough, college is tough, but nobody actually
Mm-hmm.
thinks like it's
Deep
actually tough
dives into it. Yeah.
because they're actually going through this and it affects them. So we were just
Mm-hmm.
talking about this. I definitely couldn't agree more.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to give like one piece of advice to someone who is going out and researching, what would it be?
Make sure that you're finding reputable sources and that you're not finding like a blog post about it. Make sure that you're actually going to like peer-reviewed articles, like because all of my articles they had backed medical advice, and if anything, they're from university websites themselves or conducted by scientists and researchers themselves. So just making sure that you have a reputable and reliable source is key to making sure that your research paper is actually valid.
Yes, I
So,
couldn't agree more. I think we go over this in school sometimes too, but like it also can be a challenge
mhm.
to find really good sources because of so many just there's so much stuff online nowadays. It's really, really tough to
Yeah.
actual credible sources that are backed. While like other sources might still be sharing the correct information, you want to make sure you're actually getting it from a good source. And
Yeah, from like a reliable source. Yeah.
another question I have, which might be just personally for me, but when you started collecting notes and things like that, how did you kind of, come up with an overall connecting theme or thesis or something like that?
If I'm being honest, that was I kind of just wrote. Like I didn't have a planning or anything. I kind of like I feel bad for kind of just saying, "Oh, I just wrote and did it." But truly that's what I did because I'm so used to doing it that I gathered all my information. I kind of like came up with like, okay, I'm going to do this paragraph on outside influences like peer pressure. I'm going to do this paragraph on social media. I'm going to do the wrapping paragraph of like depression, suicidal thoughts. So a lot of the planning was inside my own brain and then I kind of just like threw it on the paper in an organized way.
Yeah, I can get what you're kind of saying. It's just like
Yeah.
you've been doing it so many times, you kind of have a mind outline
Hmm.
already in your mind that you can just, follow. But I guess
Yeah.
it points out like, having an outline, knowing what you're gonna kind of go by, what points you're gonna
Yeah. Go
say,
by an outline.
yes,
Yeah.
which paragraphs you're going to do is definitely extremely helpful. So,
Yes.
before we finish talking about your research and move into actually a little bit more about yourself, is there anything lastly that you would like to share with us about your research and work?
That a lot of the stuff you see on social media is not real. Like even like there's like proof that it's not real. That like so not to like don't go too hard on yourself because that's what I would do sometimes. And honestly, it's not worth the effort and your sadness. Just be happy with your own body. I'm
Yeah.
trying to like learn that now, but it's a process and it's going to take time. But in the end, your mental health is the most important.
Yes, I couldn't agree more with what she said. So now moving into a little bit about yourself. You mentioned that you have an interest in science. So we'll start from the beginning. What sparked your interest in STEM?
To be honest, I always had a thing for science. Like even in elementary school, like whenever we pull out the science books, I'd like fifth grade me with my little pencil, I'd be ready to write down all the science notes and stuff. But I guess what really interests my interest in science was sixth grade Earth space science. That was probably one of my favorite sciences. That or seventh grade life science, but definitely some sort of like middle school science that sparked my interest for STEM.
All right. And I think obviously sometimes the classes you take is really, really important and they can kind of, spark your interests. So
Mhm.
that moves really nicely into a question I had, which is what classes are you currently taking and how do they align with your STEM interests?
So the school year that just finished, I took AP Environmental Science, and that was an interesting class to me. It's not related to a field that I personally would go into, but it was like kind of like a science class that I enjoyed doing because everything was fun. Like I like Earth and space science, so that unit in AP Environmental Science was very fun for me.
Uh-huh.
But past science classes, I've taken chemistry for health sciences, which I really enjoyed. I've taken a dual enrollment biology, which I really enjoyed. So, like the dual enrolled sciences, I enjoyed personally.
Think that's really good tips, and advice because like many people are sometimes wondering should I take dual enrollment classes or AP classes, and they can be quite
Hmm.
challenging. A lot
It
of
definitely opens your eyes.
yeah, and they can be a lot to handle and workload. So, how do you balance these
Hmm.
classes and any study tips?
Um, well, next year I'm doing like all full time dual enrollment, but when I was doing dual enrollment last year, I would just recommend splitting your time evenly, like after school, between dual enrollment work and like your in-person work as well, and also staying organized because it can be very like hard if you don't have like a notebook with your notes and stuff. If you're just very disorganized and you don't know which assignments are due. So having like for me, having a calendar with all of my due dates worked well for me because I was able to plan out, okay, I'll do work for this assignment on this day so that when it's due, like it's already finished and I have time to do work for my in-person classes. So it's all about finding the balance between the dual enrollment and the in-person class with organization.
So yes, definitely organization, one big like highlight kind of overall. So now as
Yeah.
you mentioned that you're like moving into senior year. So what major are you if you're planning to go to college, what major are you interested in and which college would you like to go to? And also what if not like what career do you want to pursue in the future?
Okay, so the nursing is the major that I want to go into personally. After high school, I plan to go to Broward College to get an associate's degree and then do an online RN to bachelor's degree program at my goal would be UF, but honestly, UM has a really good one too. So pretty much any university in Florida because a lot of the Florida universities are really good with nursing, but my main top schools are UF and UM for their online BSN program.
It
And
sounds
I after that I would like to be a nurse practitioner, like getting my master's after that. So
yeah, I could follow that plan. You had a nice like chart kind of moving forward, so that aligns really nicely with STEM and your interest in science. So my next
Mhm.
question is a little bit more opinion based. So as a student, what issues do you see in the STEM field that really matter to you, and why do you find them important?
um that's a really good question. Issues in the STEM field. I feel like probably the female ratio. I mean, I know it's a little bit controversial, but I still feel like there's a lot more guys in the field than girls. And like in engineering and like mathematics, I feel like it's like predominantly kind of like male based. And I feel like more females getting to the field would be pretty cool for representation. So,
Yeah, I think that's pretty much I've heard this before too. It's very like we can see it in the computer science classes very dominantly. Like there's
oh
like
yeah, for sure. And engineering.
yeah, computer science, engineering, any of those classes that are like two girls in the entire class period, or
Yeah.
that's definitely see the gap between that and more and just by norms and chances like boys are more interested into those fields by rather than girls, and I could definitely
Yeah.
agree more that
Hmm.
we should definitely have more
It
involved.
does go both ways though too, because sometimes in the medical field there are more females than males, like in nursing too. I know that there's been an influx of like guys going into nursing, but it goes both ways.
Yeah, definitely. So next, who are your inspirations and why?
My inspirations, probably my parents. They drive me to be the best that I could be. They're always on me with grades and stuff, and it's definitely paid off because I'm very disciplined with my own grades. But they inspire me to be the best that I could do and to try my hardest and to triple check my work, per my mom's words. So without like all of their advice of schooling, I feel like I couldn't have gone as far as I like am now. So
Yes, I could. I definitely think, parents are a lot of people's, biggest inspiration because you see them daily working hard at trying to give you a good life and,
mm-hmm.
so definitely. If there was one problem you could solve, what would it be and why?
A problem like a like world hunger, like solve world hunger kind of thing.
It can be anything really small. I know specifically with your research it was like, body imaging and things like that. So it could be something small, I mean, or
Oh,
a real big thing.
um, okay, well, world hunger would be pretty cool. But if it's pertaining to my research, then it'd probably be to like stop having people fake themselves on in like on social media in general. Because I feel like faking themselves also comes from an insecurity from themselves. So I feel like if people are just true to like to their bodies and like aware that they are who they are and they can change if they want to, but it's not fair to other people that they're showing these false changes, then I feel like a lot of people's like secure insecurities about themselves would decrease by a lot because they realize, oh, she looks like that. I kind of look like that too, and that's okay. So just like fixing the body insecurities.
Yeah, if there was just some way like we could have people stop using those like artificial decorations on themselves and things like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Like Photoshop and stuff.
Yeah. So, you've being have completed a lot of STEM classes. So, what tips would you leave for incoming high school students who are looking to pursue STEM?
For STEM, well, another big thing, organization, as always, because a lot of the classes that you're going to take in high school, even if it's just biology or chemistry, to all the APs that you might be taking, it's going to be rigorous and it's going to be difficult. And some classes may have like maybe a breeze for you and like hard for other people, but the main point is being organized and staying on top of your game, always talking to the teacher to make sure that you can do whatever you can to like you're doing the best you can to keep your grade the best you can in that class.
Uh-huh.
And just pretty much working hard, um actually doing your work and not slacking off, because if you slack off in those classes, it's very hard to catch up. But overall for me, just staying organized, making sure that you're on top of all your stuff.
Yeah. So you're not like basically you don't want to procrastinate. Well, like you don't you might not want to do
Yeah.
something, but don't set it back. Just
No,
try to
you
get
definitely don't want to do that.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think maybe I should have my next question, or maybe I should have asked it before this one. But what do you think are the most important skills needed to pursue STEM?
STEM personally, I think you need to be analytical for sure, because there's a lot of like with chemistry and physics, there's a lot of nitpick that you have to like all the logistics they have to like pay attention to. And I feel like you also need to have a very like comprehensive mindset. I don't know if that makes sense, but like from like biology or anatomy and physiology, that the ability to take in all that new information and actually learn it and not just have it go in one ear and out the other. You need to actually absorb the information that you get.
Yeah, I sometimes it happens. It's like you're just like reading a textbook, and at this point, it's just your eyes that are moving across the page, but you're not.
Yeah, your eyes just skimming.
Yeah, you're not actually taking it in.
Yeah.
So next
Hmm.
question is also a little opinion based. So what latest innovation or achievement in the STEM field has caught your attention or interest, and why?
Ooh, that's a very good one. And probably, I think stem cell therapy is pretty interesting because it's been a while. I did a research project on it a while ago, and I was reading up on it a couple months ago. But that's when you're able to like get cells from one location, like plant it into another to help regrow that body part. I'm pretty sure
Uh-huh.
the tissue at least. And I feel like that's pretty cool because that's really like it sounds like a video game. You're like regenerating your body. So I think that's super interesting. And I hope that there's more like research building up on that. And I know it's a controversial topic. I remember reading about that, but I personally find it interesting. So further like development on those ideas in stem cell therapy and research would be cool.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good uses to it. I know people worry like if it should be being used, is it safe and things like that. But
Yeah.
I think if we can get it to a point where it's safe use and can actually
Hmm.
save lives, then it's really, really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, my another question about the latest innovation part is that we've asked this to a lot of the people that I've interviewed is artificial intelligence. So this kind of fun question we have is what do you think about the use of AI and AI in schools, AI outside? How do you see AI playing out into the future?
Okay, so I feel like it can go both ways. Personally, like some AI, it's like I see as unfair to a lot of people because I feel like because my dad is a graphic designer and there's an AI called Midjourney that comes up with graphic like with designs and graphics if you just type it in. So I feel like it's unfair to those people that work hard to do like what they do and like the editors and stuff when you have AI just like, oh, edit this paper, oh, draw this for me. So I feel like to that extent it's unfair. But on the other hand, it can also be like I feel like pretty like revolutionary in like the things that it can come up with and how like it could help with innovations in the future, like Elon Musk and his AI, like his AI powered robots in the factories and stuff. So I think it can definitely go both ways. I think it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. So we'll just see how that goes 50 years from now.
Yeah, there's a lot of, it's probably like, the jobs will just kind of shift over because you'll still need people to manage the AI, code it, program it, make it even better. So
Yeah, for
the
sure.
jobs will just kind of shift away from fields that are kind of, hopefully it doesn't take them completely away, but someone still needs to,
Yeah.
look over what it's doing because
Yeah,
it only
exactly.
gets its information from things that humans enter. So we obviously will need to add new information to it to make it keep growing and keep making it better.
Hmm.
So now kind of wrapping up back, coming back into just more about you. So what would you say is your biggest achievement? It could be within STEM or outside of that.
My biggest achievement. Probably I got national recognition from College Board. So when I got that email, I was like, oh, I got national recognition. That was pretty cool. Um, yeah, pretty much school based. Other than that, I managed to stay in the top five all of my high school career of like the class. So that's something that I'm really proud of myself. So
Yes, that's a
I
really
say the
big
best.
achievement. Yes, top five is really challenging. Um, if you don't mind me asking, you said you got recognition from College Board, so what was it kind of like
Mhm.
for?
I got Hispanic national recognition. So I don't know what the requirements are. I just applied for it one day because let me just reply to this. It's pretty cool.
Hmm.
And then I got the email that I got the national recognition. I had to meet with my brace advisor at my high school. So it was a pleasant surprise when I got the email. I didn't actually think I was going to get the award.
That's a really, really big deal. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Um, if have you navigated any challenges or setbacks in pursuing your STEM journey or overall school journey? And if so, what have you learned from those experiences?
Personal setback for me has definitely been burnout, with like circling back to what the topic was, like resonating with me. Um, Overcoming burnout is difficult because you'd like, especially if it's in the middle of the year, you're just getting more work and work and work, and then that impending doom. Oh my gosh, AP exams are coming. I need to study for all of those. But just kind of taking like sitting back, taking 1 or 2 days, like it sounds bad, but like taking a day or two off and kind of just resetting yourself mentally
Mhm.
and creating a plan for how you're going to tackle all the work and studying that you have to do really helped me personally. And I think I've made it obvious that I really like organization because for me, staying organized really, really helped me. So
Yes, I mean, you can't really go wrong with staying organized, even if,
you can't.
yeah, you really can't go wrong. You're gonna need that in the future, no matter what
Mm-hmm.
position you have, whatever job you're doing, you need to be able to stay organized. Like, either you're gonna have a messy home or organized home, and it can be kind
Yeah.
of
Either
so.
one.
Yeah, it's an either or kind of situation. So my last kind of like question for you is, are there any extracurriculars or volunteering that you do outside of school, and what are they?
Currently all of my extracurriculars and volunteers, like they're kind of at a halt now because it's like the end of the year. But when school was in session, I was part of the flag football team, and I'd volunteer at my church sometimes when they were hosting events, like for they were holding a carnival, and I was able to volunteer there. I would go to my elementary school that I previously attended, and I'd be an assistant counselor after school. So I thought that that was pretty fun. I'm currently looking for a summer job now, and hopefully to have it into next school year. So hopefully that goes well.
All right, yes, so, very exciting plans, and just helping around the community is always a great thing to do. So,
Yeah.
do you have any last word, any last advice, or anything you'd like to share?
Um, I said it already, stay organized. Um, just staying organized, honestly, getting a calendar really helps because you're able to plan. Like, even for the steamboat, I was able on my dry erase board to put that I had an interview today. And if I didn't have it on my dry erase board, I would have forgotten I had this interview. But just having a calendar with all the dates and when your assignments are due, when you have tests, it helps you prepare for what you want to do that same day and like help you plan. Like, okay, I'm gonna have this done so that this weekend I could just chill and be with my friends or something like that.
Mhm.
So just staying organized keeps you like really on top of your stuff, like class wise and outside of school and extracurriculars.
Yeah, I use my calendar all the time too. Otherwise, I wouldn't even show up here either. It's in my Google Calendar. I'm putting everything in there. Got my agenda book. I write it in two places, so I at least get a notification. I have a piece
Yeah,
of
so
paper
real.
because I'm not gonna remember otherwise. Even though I
No.
really want to be able to hold it all in my brain. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I would like to thank you for joining us this week on our student
Of
series
course. Thank you for having
project.
me.
Yeah, thank you. And if anybody is interested in getting interviewed by our team, be sure to check out the form shared in our description. We're always looking for interested students, and we interview anyone between the ages of 14 and 22. But we'll always make exceptions for God students who are doing amazing work. And we hope to see you back here again on Monday for our next installment. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.